Live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Double D Podcast, breaking down the news of the week and whatever else is on our mind with a little bit of wrestling mixed in for taste, sort of like cinnamon. So grab some Doritos and a Diet Coke, then sit back and relax because it's time for the Double D with your host and self-proclaimed pop culture experts, Damian Nelson and David Hero.
Well, David, we're back.
Yes.
The Double D. I'm the big D in the Double D. You're the little D.
I am not
in
the
Double
little
D.
spoon in this situation.
I didn't say anything about a spoon. I don't think spoon has the word D in it.
Spooned?
It's the podcast.
It is.
It's been, when's the last time we did this? Back in,
November-ish?
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. Well, we had an issue in December and January.
You had an issue in December and January. Everything was coming up roses for me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, here it's the Double D, and what we do is we talk about stuff. Not necessarily wrestling, but there'll be some wrestling in it. And every Thursday now, we're back with the Double D. Life?
Right?
Life.
How
The game of life?
It is a game.
For some it is, yes. Indeed. Mm-hmm. But, we got a lot to do and talk about this week. But first, David Hero, last weekend.
I don't want to talk about that. That would just get everybody in a lot of trouble, just so you know.
Well, I'm sure they'll see pictures of it all over your social media, so what's the point of talking about it or not talking about it?
A picture is just a picture.
A picture is not just a picture. It's weird, though, because it's like those pictures change every couple hours.
Well,
It's like there's one constant, you.
There's different filters.
Ah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like on on Snapchat, they've got those filters, right?
Oh, they have lots of stuff on Snapchat.
So you had a fan fest this past weekend here in Milwaukee,
yes.
with Mean Gene Okerlund, the NWO, all kinds of other people.
What it is, it was the Super Friends Fan Fest.
Oh.
Yeah.
What made it super friendly?
Because
I got my newspaper here to keep up on the times.
It was a very super friendly
Talk
fan
about what's
fest.
new.
And it was everyone that, is a friend of the show. I mean, we had Mean Gene Okerlund. We had Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
With the one or O-N-E?
It was the number one and then Wonderful. Cowboy Bob Orton. We had Katie Forbes.
Really?
We had Velvet Sky. Angelina Love.
Got some tomatoes in there, huh?
We had a garden full.
A garden full?
A garden full of tomatoes.
What about a pocket full of sunshine?
We had Thea Martinez.
Thea Martinez? Oh.
Thea Trinidad.
I get tripped up for calling Robbie's wife Brooke, and you can't even get a last name right.
Okay, but it is Trinidad, and she's Puerto Rican. Martinez could be a Puerto Rican name.
So you're saying all Puerto Ricans have the last name Martinez?
Or Gonzalez. Or Escobar. And then, of course, Melina was there.
She was.
And let's not forget, it was headlined on Sunday by the New World Order.
So what was the highlight for you?
Oof. You know what? There was a lot of highlights. I'd have to say Saturday night, all of us went out to Casablanca. We had a blast.
Ah, Casa and Brady?
Yeah,
Here in Milwaukee?
Yes, we did. And ODB was there. Oh, my good God. She has some of the best tasting barbecue sauce on the planet.
Whoa, what are you saying?
She's delicious.
She is literally, as they say in some circles, one of my favorite people on God's green earth.
Oh, yeah.
Jess Dalton, ODB.
It's not Dalton, it's Cressa.
Where did I get Dalton from?
Dalton was the other gimmick name.
Was it?
Yeah. But and you guys have a vibe. You guys have a connection with each other.
Yeah, we do.
You are fun to watch, interact, and play off of each other.
Wait, you were watching this?
I watch everything. There's cameras everywhere.
Isn't that against the law?
Ask Omar the Hookah Man. There are cameras everywhere. Yes.
It was a fun weekend, though.
It was a blast.
With the fan fest.
It was great. I mean, it was good to see the Milwaukee land, Chicago land, Wisconsin land, Illinois' super friends all coming out. And, we're working on a second one in October.
You know what? Speaking of Milwaukee and Wisconsin land and whatnot, how did I not know until this morning that Carrot Top was going to be performing here in Milwaukee at Potawatomi tonight? Have you seen Carrot Top?
He's
perform?
jacked.
He is, but he's a great prop comic.
He reminds me of Wendy on steroids. The hamburger chick? Yeah, Wendy's.
He is one who will make as many jokes as anybody else will about his looks. But he can do that because he is, as you said, Jakked jacked. But
gills.
Carrot Top, so you haven't seen him?
No, but we should go tonight. I know you got editing and stuff to do.
I'd like to see Carrot Top. He's pretty awesome.
You know.
But David Harrell, speaking of Vegas, Carrot Top, all that, we were at the Cauliflower Alley Club a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't talked about our excursion to the Cheetah Club. We went to the Cheetah Club to see The Godfather because he manages it legit.
He invited us out and
got wristbands. Got a lot of shots.
I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fuzzy.
We had a lot of shots.
We did.
There were quite a few.
There was a lot of Jameson.
Now, let's say this though. Keep in mind, remember, everybody was supposed to go with us.
Right.
We had a gaggle of people scheduled to attend this strip club event with us from the Cauliflower Alley Club contingency, and everybody but us bailed out. Now, I understand why Pat Patterson didn't want to join us.
Right, and Cousin Jack, he bailed.
It's quite obvious his reasoning as to why. But it was going to be a thing. It was going to be shenanigans.
It still was a thing, and there were definitely shenanigans. Now, I only know that because I saw my credit card statement. I'm glad
the fish tacos, the breakfast buffet.
I'm glad they changed the name because otherwise it would be an embarrassing reminder how much.
What do you mean they changed the name?
Well, they don't call it Cheetah Club on the statement.
What's it called?
I'd rather not.
And what did you buy?
I don't remember. But it must have been something expensive.
You know, not everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No, it winds up on your credit card statement.
Or elsewhere.
My doctor says I'm fine.
Look, the Cauliflower Alley Club it's going to be an annual for us now. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was unique, but it was fun.
And let's not forget who invited us to go. Mean Gene invited us to be his guests out there with him.
Yep.
And, we're very blessed, we're very fortunate that we have Mean Gene as our mentor.
Incredibly.
And he takes us, he makes sure that, we meet the people we need to meet. We met the WWE archivist,
We did. He was a good guy.
And it was a lot of fun.
Guy.
I mean, we had, it was probably one of the best
What aren't
trips
you saying?
It was one of the best trips you and I have taken together since Dallas.
It was FUN fun.
Which was 10 days earlier.
If that.
It was like 4 or 5 days earlier, wasn't it?
Was it 19 days?
I came back on a Tuesday and I left on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, you were there longer. Remember, I came into town. I kicked ass, took names, and left.
I left. Well, you kicked ass in Vegas. You were killing the slots. I forgot.
Well, you did too at Cheetah Club.
But that's what the Cheetah Club is for, is to kill slots.
Again, an annual event. I think it's a little close to WrestleMania, though. Is it a good thing or bad thing?
It's a bad thing because you don't get time to recuperate. I mean, I was in Dallas for a whole week. I got in on a Tuesday and I left on a Tuesday. You came in on Thursday, left on Tuesday. And, when you're then in Dallas for a week, and of course I took Cal with me.
Yeah.
Which, as
Wait,
you know.
To Dallas.
To Dallas.
Yes.
What he did well, didn't he?
He did very well.
I mean, for a kid that's 13, he was hitting home runs the entire week,
He turned it up.
He did. He was clubbing. Cal was clubbing with us at the Shenanigans party.
Yep. Speaking of which, by the way, this past year in Dallas, we had the Shenanigans party.
Yes, we did.
It was sold out ×2.
It was
we literally had a line of people waiting at the door to buy tickets to get in because they still showed up because they even knew it was already sold out, but were hoping to get in.
And we were shut down an hour early.
No, 30. Well, no, we called last call at 1.
Yeah.
It was necessary.
For somebody, yes.
Again, when you throw a party like this and you look at the front door and unexpectedly, all of a sudden standing in front of you is Sabu. You've done something right.
Or wrong.
Yeah, very true, yeah. But next year, David, Orlando, Florida. Yes. Shenanigans will be back. That is guaranteed. Yes. That is awesome.
It will be the biggest Shenanigans party of all time in Orlando.
It will be by the sheer number of people who will be able to attend alone. The venue that we have secured and are signing the contract on in the next few days is world class. Absolutely world class and the best location possible. But before Shenanigans, the after party, David Hero. It's an after party.
It is an after party.
For everything going on WrestleMania weekend on Friday night. But this year, upcoming in Orlando, it's going to be an after party for a event that's never been done before.
No.
Not at WrestleMania, not anywhere in the country.
It will be one of the sweetest events we've ever done.
And I think the memories will last for a lifetime as well.
For life.
For life?
Easily for life.
We will be able and hope to announce that event coming up in the next couple of weeks. Again, just finishing up the contracts, but this venue is amazing. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime event. It is going to be an epic event because it will start in the evening of Friday and go all the way into the after hours of Friday night. And again, we're going to be rocking hard in Orlando next week as part of next year as part of WrestleMania weekend.
Honestly, I can't wait. I'm already ecstatic about Orlando.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is Julie Smith going to come with us? The new correspondent on the Pro Wrestling Report?
And
so you're going to have her and Linda. One on the right arm, one on the left arm. Or are they both going to be on your back?
They'll be with you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I get that perk?
I think you've earned it. I'm going to be too busy watching.
Might have to turn that down.
Listen, I'm going to be too busy watching Cal. He is already making plans for Orlando.
Okay, the last thing Cal needs is you watching
I
him.
give him the best advice ever regarding relationships. I say you.
Okay.
Right?
So, what was the latest great piece of advice you gave your son, 13 years of age, about relationships?
He needs to be single during the summertime.
What?
Of course.
What do you mean single during the summertime?
He's in 8th grade and he'll be a freshman in high school next year, and it's like, dude, you realize how many experiences, how many people you're gonna meet on your summer vacation?
What if he meets the
fun.
one on his summer vacation?
At 13? Then he's screwed. You never marry the first person you hook up with. You need to
that's
practice. Assuming
that would be the first person he hooked up with. How old were you?
He listens to this. It's none of his business. Listen, I'll wait till he's 18 to answer those questions. It's like, where'd you meet your mom? Wait until you're 18.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Right? You know.
Yeah.
You know where the bodies are buried.
Oh, I certainly do. So Julie Smith, new PBR correspondent.
Beautiful girl.
Beautiful girl, and very happy to have her on the show joining Linda.
She loves pro wrestling. She is a fan.
She does, and
yes.
she's learning along with us, and is going to be a part of the show for a long time here, and we appreciate her being a part of it. And, Julie also can be found somewhere else here in Milwaukee.
Yes.
On a regular basis.
She is the operations manager at Casablanca. Basically my second home. Your fourth home after the casino and what's that place down by you go to? The Fog Cutter?
Fog Cutter,
yeah.
AJ's.
Yeah. See?
Those are my Lake County, Illinois bars. My
Right.
Milwaukee bars are Karma and
we love
any
Karma.
bar at the casino actually works for me.
There's always good karma at Karma for us.
The Double D podcast. How long are we into this thing? We're look at that. We're right on time, David Hero. But one more thing here that I wanted to talk about is this is a podcast.
Yes.
Granted, there's video as well because
Yes.
Marketing thinks that this is a good idea to put this on video.
We look good on TV.
I sure do.
That's why we've lasted this long, because we got that thing going.
But it was a damn good pleasure and treat to hear my name in our show mentioned.
And mine as well.
Did he mention your name?
Of course. With 2 R's. He got it right.
Really?
Yes.
Jim Ross on the Ross Report podcast, which is weekly listening for me. Ross Report, Jim Cornette's Experience, and also I listen to Salamonster on Sundays.
Yes.
Don't always agree with everything he says, but it's an amazing production. And which one did I mention? Vince Russo's Experience.
Russo,
Now,
yes.
I can't listen to Vince Russo's and Jim Cornette's together, or because they don't.
They don't. Yeah. They
There's some.
They don't see
What do they
eye.
call it? Heat. But yeah, thanks to JR. Also, Vince Russo talking about some things we had recently talked about on the show on his podcast recently, and really appreciate having all those friends, if you will, here in this podcast universe.
You can call them super friends. I mean, they kind of are.
I don't want to insult them.
You can call them Nelsonites if you want to.
No, there would be members of the Nelson family, the recognized symbol of excellence.
And you know what's funny? And I've mentioned this before. Let's face it.
So why are you mentioning it again?
Because the as Donald Trump would say, the people.
We're going to talk about him later, by the way.
It just, 7-8 years ago, we were sitting in front of a green bed sheet doing this show.
I was laying on one at times.
Well, that explains why some of the coloring was off.
It wasn't the same one. It was a green sheet.
Whoops.
Well, we're going to talk about that on Feedback Friday tomorrow as well. We've got some. Just tune in to Feedback Friday tomorrow. It'll be cool. You don't have a choice. You'll be there, but for everybody listening, they can tune in.
You know what? Let's face it. People tune in to get my feedback on Friday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what you think? Is that what drives that head up there?
No.
Up there.
That's not what does the driving. But I mean, most of the comments is because of people who disagree with what I have to say.
So you're a bit of a controversial person.
No, I'm honest. There's a huge difference.
Want to talk some wrestling?
You don't want to say that for the weekend?
Well, we've got a lot of wrestling to talk about, at times our times are limited in our television presentations. So there's some extra stuff, if you will, here that we're going to talk about. Firstly, this will be the top story on Feedback Friday tomorrow, so we won't get into all the details of it, because we'll give you the news, if you will, tomorrow. But has Adam Rose had a worse week in his life? Arrested,
you know what?
Suspended, suspended again.
You know what? I think Matt Hardy has had a worst week in the past.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
By his own admission.
Yeah. But
when he was going to commit suicide on YouTube.
But you know what, though? When you're out fooling around with the Easter Bunny or the Trix Rabbit, whatever
the what rabbit?
The Trix Rabbit, you're bound to get those kind of issues.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's I feel bad for him. I feel bad for his family. It's unfortunate that the world of the online internet feels that they need to.
But he did it. It's all out there. It's public. Yeah. When your mugshot's out there, it's fair game.
Yeah. It's.
Remember that. When your mugshot's out there, it's fair game.
Bro, I know enough judges and DAs that I'll make sure your mugshot will never be out there.
I have nothing to worry about. Now, again, we'll talk more about Adam Rose tomorrow on Feedback Friday, but I did something this week, David Hero, that I've never done before.
Right.
We've heard a lot of people, especially in our feedback, and ask us why we don't watch or talk about this, why we don't watch or talk about that. And one of those things was Lucha Underground.
Oh, you watched?
You've heard of it.
Yeah,
I watched a 30-minute episode of Lucha Underground, and I had to check a couple of times because I was wondering what I was watching in the first 3 minutes of it, because it was some scene in like a bar or something, and it was like cinematic.
It's like TV novelas. It's like a Spanish soap opera with pro wrestling with.
That's what it was. Yes.
Okay. Now,
the wrestling was.
Do you see why I'm here?
No, I still wonder. I don't know. But it was, okay, was I entertained? I guess. Is it something that is going to revolutionize pro wrestling? No. It's a niche product for a niche audience, and that works, but it's not a very large audience. And I can't imagine it being destination television for me on a weekly basis. That's not knocking anybody. I mean, John Morrison was on the show. Rey Mysterio was on the show. It was good wrestling, and I thought the presentation was good. It was different, but they're not going to overtake and become one of the top wrestling organizations in the world.
No.
Especially taping a year in advance.
Right. I agree. But it's entertaining TV. They got beautiful women on that show.
They do. They did.
They have athletic lucha wrestling stars.
Yeah.
And it's something different. But, like all hot TV shows, they eventually fizzle a little bit, And,
well, but they do seasons, though. So they do, I think, 13-week seasons, which I think keeps it fresh and keeps it relevant. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it? Have you watched it? Dummy, have you seen it?
I have not.
Why not?
Well,
they don't have it on Twitter or Instagram or.
Let's be honest. Wednesday
Snapchat?
night, I watch Arrow.
Tinder.
Okay.
Arrow.
Yes. Stephen Amell.
Yes.
Yeah, you like that guy. Yeah. And I watch The Flash on Tuesdays, and Monday I'm watching Raw. Thursday I watch.
Well, Tuesdays you're not watching Impact? TNA Impact Wrestling?
That's on Tuesdays?
Tuesday nights on Pop TV.
Yes, of course, because Uncle Al is kicking ass right now on Impact.
Good show this past week.
And of course, that's on after The Flash. And then Thursdays I watch Legends of Tomorrow.
What is that?
It's with Hot Girl. And
what network is that on?
CW. These are.
I don't watch television.
It's our sister station.
I understand that,
yes.
But David Hero, I
and then Fridays I listen to the Police Blotter trying to see. I'm trying to find what you're doing.
I have a code name, Admiral.
Admiral that's
Nelson.
Not the one I thought it was.
What are they using? Did they change it? Didn't tell me. What is it now?
Hot chocolate.
No. That's my old one. My old one. Yes, one time
yes.
It was chocolate pudding, then it was mocha, and now it's Admiral.
Is it
That's
Admiral?
some PC thing or whatever with people listening like you do.
Yeah.
They couldn't refer to me as something referencing a brown or black color.
What's wrong with chocolate pudding?
Well, I'm black, so some people consider that racist, even though I find it funny.
How about we call you?
Black Lives Matter.
How about if we call you creme brulee?
It's creme.
Creme?
Creme
I can't
brulee.
do that. That sounds awkward. You can creme your fluid all you want. I'm going to stick with creme brulee.
So you haven't talked about this. We haven't talked about this. And
Yes.
people are watching this and listening to it. But, we did I did the final word.
The expose.
I did the final word last week on that whole TNA, Death of TNA episode we did a couple of weeks ago, which I learned a lot from David Hero. And one thing I didn't talk about was I learned a lot about how a lot of these, and we knew this, but it's rare that that you can become the subject of it. When I say you, I mean you.
Yeah.
But I believe integrity is what defines a man. I believe that. What are you doing?
Well,
I believe that integrity defines a man. And when you are the owner of a wrestling news website or whatever else you want to call it, and all you're doing is stealing a story from somewhere and using Control-C, Control-V, and copying and pasting it into your own site and not citing the sources, how can a person sleep at night doing that?
Well, they sleep in their mother's basement.
Not all. Some of these are reputable sites that copied and pasted.
I don't know.
I just don't understand.
I copy and paste certain things, but it's usually when I'm doing important stuff.
Let's be real. There's only a few sites that have real news and real information and scoops, if you will. Mike Johnson over at PW Insider.
Yes.
They have good stuff. The Torch, PW Torch. Wrestle Scoops, I think it is, with Ryan Satin?
No, Wrestling Sheet.
Wrestling Sheets, Pro Wrestling Sheets. Yes, you're right.
Meltzer has stuff.
Meltzer has stuff, yeah. Figure 4 Weekly.
And TMZ. A lot of it breaks on TMZ first.
How does TMZ get all their stuff?
Because
they pay?
Okay, no. Let's be honest. The guys that leak information would rather go to TMZ to get mainstream press than go to the quote-unquote dirt sheet guys.
But I think TMZ also does pay.
Well, they're not paying me anything.
No, you don't have news. You don't have scoops.
Of course I do. I always have a hot news. Hey, who was the guy quoted on Bobby Heenan last week?
That was you,
That
but
was
not
me.
TMZ didn't get that. You should not call them. But see, you have that thing called integrity.
Yes, I do.
You're not going to sell the story of.
Well, give me $50.
Took me a
I
lot
might
to say that, by the way.
What, integrity?
The
Try
T or
spelling
a
it
man
sometime.
of. INT, it was something else. So, do you have anything else? I final worded it last week, but your name was out there and
bro,
copy and
I
pasted
have
all over the
nothing
place.
more to say
Really?
about it,
You're closing your mouth, you're zipping your lips, you got nothing else. You're exercising some restraint.
Como se dice, as you would say,
I don't speak Spanish.
The proof is in the chocolate pudding,
What's going on with Bob Backlund and Darren Young? Bob Backlund is Darren Young's life coach.
Yeah, who knew? I mean, if I'm Darren Young, I'm thinking, well, let's see, who can I pick to be my life coach? Montel Williams,
Oh, this ought to be a good list.
Dr. Phil.
Oh, I was surprised you went there. I thought maybe you'd go with Arsenio Hall next, or maybe Michael Strahan next,
Oh, Michael Strahan, sure. I
or
can
maybe
see
Jonathan
that.
Coachman next.
No, I don't see him. Oh, he's a coach. He could be a the coachman. But no, I'm going to pick Bob Backlund, of all people.
It's comical.
He's shoot insane.
He put me in the chicken wing once.
That's racist.
Why? He put me in the chicken
I
wing.
thought
He
you
did
said-
not.
Oh, I think he gave you one. Like, that's ridiculous. That's terrible.
It was WrestleMania past. We were talking, and you know his gimmick where he won't sign an autograph unless you can name all the presidents in order.
I could never do that.
Nobody could. So it was a long conversation I ended up having with Mr. Backlund, and
Because you got all the presidents in order?
I never did it, and we explained and talked about his reasoning and his logic behind it, and he schooled me, if you will, on some things. And then we got to the point of, I'm saying I'd never been in a wrestling hold before, and at that time in my life, and he
What other holds have you been
put
in?
me in the chicken, well, the full Nelson, half Nelson.
Gotcha.
I use those often. He put me in the chicken wing, hurt like a mofo. He cinched it up, cinched in.
Well, of course, he wants you to know that it hurts. If it doesn't hurt, then it's
Well,
not
but at
big
that
of a deal.
time, I was younger, and wrestling was still "quote unquote" fake.
So he took advantage of your youngness.
Brooklyn Brawler's gone.
That's shocking to me.
Steve Lombardi, 30 years plus with the company.
30 years. I mean, imagine the pension he could have had somewhere else.
The pension. Yes.
30 years somewhere?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have that in Titan Towers.
Uh-huh.
You know? I mean, it's like, what could he have done?
What could you
Unless he wanted to be gone, but I doubt that.
Well, if you're with a company for that long, you would never want to be gone, I don't think.
But just like, what happened for them to say, okay, you know what, Steve, we don't want you anymore? I mean, he's the guy that works with all the young talent, working on promos and stuff with them. Maybe they weren't happy with the direction of the oratory skills of some of those people.
Well, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, David, we're going to talk about some pop news. You going to talk about Beyonce? Beyonce?
Sure, we can talk about that.
And then we're going to talk about some political stuff with your endorsed candidate, Donald Trump.
Yes.
And all that. Plus, we're going to find out what's coming up this weekend on all of our programming. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, the Double D podcast continues here on the PWR Now Network.
Beautiful.
You're listening to the Double D Podcast with Damian Nelson and David Hero. But you already knew that.
Like, seriously, you did.
So just follow us on Twitter where we use our real names, at Damian Nelson and at David Hero.
Ring of Honor Wrestling rolls into Milwaukee on Sunday, June 12th at the Turner Hall Ballroom with a 7 p.m. bell time. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
At Gruber Law Offices, we understand that when you've been injured, life is tough. That's why we offer so many services for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital? We'll come to you for free. We'll deal with the insurance company for you and get you the help you need. Call Gruber Law Offices now. We don't get paid until you do, and your first consultation is always free.
You're listening to the Double D Podcast with Damian Nelson and David Hero. But you already knew that.
Like, seriously, you did.
So just follow us on Twitter where we use our real names, at Damian Nelson and at David Hero.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the Double D podcast. Damian, I never did that the first time. Didn't say who we were. Damian Nelson and David Hero.
Who else would it be? There's no chicks on the show.
Do we need a chick?
We could.
If you were to get a sidekick for this show, if you were to get your sidekick, who would it be?
ODB.
She wants to do a podcast. We got to get on that.
She wants to do a podcast about relationships. And she thinks her and I would be like the experts in failed relationships. What do you think about that?
Look, we talked about her earlier. I've had
Super
some
friends with benefits hooking up with ODB. Right?
If someone were willing to do the work to make it happen, I would love to have that podcast.
Oh,
I would love it.
Talking.
I would love it.
And we'll have we'll have special guests on all the time too.
Such as?
Oh, I mean,
Who would be your first get?
Kevin Nash. We'll go Katie Forbes, Al Snow. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I can't imagine. So, bunch of big movies have come out lately, David Hero.
Blockbusters.
Most recently, Captain America: Civil War, which
Yes.
is really the third Avengers movie if you really look at it. Spider-Man involved because they're trying to relaunch that brand after
Spider-Man
some weakness.
was great.
Was he?
Yes.
Now, I have seen Captain America: Civil War. However, I had an incident.
Well, you were pilled up.
No.
Benadryl.
No. I went to. I
wasn't
pre-booked.
Benadryl?
No, I pre-booked on Thursday to see it on last Thursday, and I had a booking error.
Yes.
I booked this 4DX theater, which I didn't know I booked it. I thought I was booking the Ultra Lounge, which has the recliners and you know to sit next to somebody, all that stuff. So, in this 4DX theater, and I don't know why anybody would ever want to subject themselves to this hell, but the chairs move. It's like you're on a simulator ride. So I'm thinking, all right, this is not going to go well. I have a weak stomach.
Was it like some hookup theater you went to?
No, that's the one with the peepholes.
Oh.
It's really hard to see the screen.
So,
through
but
that.
these chairs rock back and forth?
Back, forth, side, up, down, side to side. They rocked everywhere.
That's...
So I'm thinking, all right, it's an action movie. It's a gimmick. It's going to happen occasionally throughout the film.
Yes.
The damned opening credits, you know, that Marvel gimmick that with the comic book, that comes up.
Yeah.
Chair starts moving. I'm like, oh, this, nope, not going to happen.
Because you got a queasy stomach, don't you?
I have a weak stomach, yes.
For a guy that likes roller coasters, that freaks you out?
Well, I can, roller coasters are different than spinning around and sitting and moving constantly for 2 hours and 26 minutes.
But that's usually on a Friday night for you anyhow.
No, it's about an hour and a half. So I sat there, I lasted 5 minutes. And now I'm pissed because I need to see this movie. You know, I'm a big Captain America fan.
You love Captain America.
I need to see this movie.
Well,
It's now midnight.
Wait, stop. Just so everyone knows, when we were in New Orleans WrestleMania.
Nolan's losing.
We were out there with Al Snow, Monique Dupree, a bunch of other super friends. We're talking about different superheroes, right?
And
we
such.
were. Everyone knows I'm Superman guy. Al Snow is Batman.
Because you like aliens.
Oh, legal ones. You know, Batman is Al Snow. Monique is Catwoman. And you said your favorite was Captain America.
Absolutely.
And we all had shocked looks on our faces. Because we just don't see it.
No, you don't see it because you found it to be rare that a black guy would like Captain America.
Yeah, I figured, maybe, well, Al thought Black Panther, absolutely. Or, Black Thunder. Or, even Batman, we could have got that. But Captain America, the all-American, white bread superhero.
Boy Next Door.
Yeah. Didn't see it.
I prove, though, that I am not.
Even Shane Helms, who's a big superhero fan.
I
didn't get it.
proved how I'm not unique in that matter, though, on Bourbon Street.
Oh, true story.
I did a survey.
Yes.
Survey said.
You were the only black
No,
guy that
the
Captain
survey did
America.
not say that. There were several in shirts and in voice that were supportive of Captain America.
But they weren't black.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, you were hammered.
I was not. There's video of it somewhere, actually.
Well, I'm sure we'll have to find that.
So
Anyway,
I need to see this
can
movie.
we-
So I get
can
this
we go back to
40X
the movie
thing.
now? Okay.
I'm shaking. I'm rocking in this chair. 5 minutes later, I gotta go. I can't do it. I'm already queasy. So I'm like, shoot. It's now midnight. I got gigs at 8 in the morning. I got to figure out where I'm going to see this movie. Now, in my mind, I don't know how long the movie is yet. I think an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
2.5.
So I find another theater. It's about 10 minutes from the theater I was at. They had a midnight showing, and now I'm thinking, all right, it's a midnight showing on the night before. It's going to be packed, and I'm going to be irritated. Somebody's going to be on their phone. The light's going to bother me. Someone's going to laugh. Someone's going to talk. Someone's going to say, oh, watch out. And I don't see movies on Fridays. I generally go see a movie on a Monday afternoon for the matinee with the senior citizens. So, luckily, there was like 12 people in this theater, standard theater, no gimmicks, chairs didn't move, they reclined, it was nice. Well, unfortunately, since I was an hour behind in my biological clock for the night, I dozed off 3 times during the movie, and each of those 10-minute naps had to be at pivotal points in the movie,
of course,
because
there were some
every
very
time
pivotal points in that movie.
Every time I woke up, I was thoroughly confused, had no idea what was happening on the screen or why, and actually sat through the end of the movie, but tuned out the last 30, 45 minutes of it. Like I was watching, but I was not paying attention.
So you were pissy?
No, not pissy. I had decided after nap 2 that I had to see the movie again because I had missed so much.
Sure.
So I couldn't pay attention to the rest of the movie because I didn't want to spoil it for myself.
Gotcha.
So I have not seen Captain America Civil War, but I've seen it. It's like when you go to movies, right? You have different reasons you don't doze off. You from what I understand, from what I've heard, when you saw Schindler's List and you were making out.
That was frickin' long.
It's not what she said. So without spoiling it for me or anybody else who's out there, because you saw it just last night, I
I
think.
saw it last night, yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a solid movie. I thought it was good. It was frustrating how Captain America and Iron Man couldn't find common ground together.
Are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
I'll be honest, neither one is my favorite.
You have to pick one.
I'm gonna pick Team Hulk because he beat both their asses. You know what I mean?
You pick Team Cap, Team Iron Man. That's the subject at hand. Why is it so difficult for you?
My personality is more like Iron Man.
Yeah, you're a sarcastic asshole, yeah.
But deep down, my heart is like Captain America.
You're not texting that or tweeting that or DMing that, so.
I will later. It's a hell of a line. It'll work.
So you're Team Cap.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
I am a good guy. You know why? Because Okay, for as much as we joke around, I always look out for the little guy.
Yes, absolutely.
Usually because they're shorter than me. Okay?
Yeah. So you don't want to step on them.
No, I don't. And so you always want to look out for people that need your help. Iron Man doesn't do that.
He doesn't need to. Here's why Captain America is great. We talked about Superman's an alien.
Yes.
Batman's got a belt.
Yes.
Cap's got a shield. Iron Man's got a whatever gimmick is going on in his chest there.
Yeah.
Captain America is just a real man who happens to be enhanced, who believes in the good of the country.
He's on the gas. Permanent gas.
The gas?
Steroids.
It's super soldier serum. It's medically crafted. It's medically crafted for enhancement of soldiers.
Changing gears, Cap.
I don't have a shield. I do have a shield.
You do have a shield. Monday night, I was out with Thea and Melina.
Yes, who's now blonde.
With Cal, we were clubbing at Casablanca. And one of the
Monday?
Yes.
It's a school night.
He's fine. He's an honor roll student.
Was.
He'll figure it out. No, I'm sorry. No, it was Tuesday night. And the topic of conversation came up was Batman versus Superman. I would like to think I know a lot. Those two ladies, Thea pro Batman, Melina pro Superman, they went at it. They are best friends. It was getting heated. Some great conversation. I want to have them come on sometime and just do that show.
Well, there is no argument. Batman's better.
No, he's not.
Batman's better.
Superman needs to keep his powers in check every day to not kill somebody. Batman doesn't do that.
Okay, so Civil War versus Batman versus Superman. I did see all of Batman vs. Superman in its entirety.
Yes.
I loved every single minute of it and thought it did what it needed to do was reboot the Justice League brand.
Yes.
And
you know what?
it was brilliant.
I loved Batman Superman. I didn't like that they both had the mom's name Martha, which I never knew before.
Yeah.
That threw me. Wonder Woman I thought was great. I wish she was a little bit more like the throwback Wonder Woman, not like this CrossFit Wonder Woman, But I get that. But I loved Batman versus Superman more than Civil War.
Best part about Batman versus Superman is how they, and if you haven't seen it, fast forward for a few seconds, how they killed Superman twice. Because they had to kill him the first time to make you think when he got killed the second time, he would come back.
Right.
Now, ultimately, there was a hint of that at the very, very end of the movie, but it was brilliant. And then the two funerals, the one for Superman and the one for Clark Kent.
Yes.
Cinematic gold.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It was great. And it proved that Superman is the most selfless person in the universe.
Why are you putting him over so much?
Because he took the Kryptonian sword, which made him sick and eventually weakened him, and drove it through Doomsday's.
But here's my question, because I'm a logical, fact-based human being.
Huh?
Logical, fact-based human being.
Will you stop?
How did he fly with that scepter with the kryptonite in it? And that's the other thing about Superman, or Rock can beat him, and maintain his powers when he couldn't even be near it before and stand up.
Smart ass. If Soup strapped a boulder on Batman, that rock would beat him too.
A boulder, not a rock the size of this pin cap.
It's a meteor. Okay? But he had the testicular fortitude and guts and determination to save everybody. That's what made him do it.
Is Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce?
Yeah.
How?
Because.
How?
Okay.
How?
Can we be honest?
How?
You show me a hot chick, I guarantee there's a guy that's sick of her shit. Okay? Eventually, you can only have, steak every night. Eventually, you're going to want some...
But once you have...
I don't want to say lobster because that's inferring crabs. But, maybe you want... I don't want to say fish either because that stinks. Maybe you just want something different.
Cheeseburger?
Sure.
But once you've had the steak, why do you want the cheeseburger?
Because if you don't want the cheeseburger, you can always throw it out. The steak's expensive. You got to keep it.
It's all because of this Lemonade song, which I haven't even heard yet. Have you heard it?
No, I have not.
And now people are reading deep into this, saying she wrote this song because he's cheating on her and they're going to separate and all this other stuff. And they got a kid together, right? The
Sure.
whole baby bump thing.
Yeah.
Kerry Washington's pregnant again. Olivia Pope from Scandal.
I remember
she's going to be Anita Hill, too.
From the movie with
Chris Rock?
Yes. That was
She was his wife, right? Yeah.
No, she was not the wife.
She was not?
She was
not
the
mama?
mistress.
What was that movie? They have one of those long titles.
Yeah.
You know, don't go taking Mama's chitlins while she cooking fries in the kitchen.
Sure.
By Tyler Perry.
Okay. Yeah.
Should Kelly Ripa, of Live with Regis and Kelly?
Yeah.
Well, you should be Regis, but they screwed Regis out as much as they're trying to screw Kelly out. Should she have no-showed for 3 days after Strahan was announced as the new correspondent on Good Morning America? Why? Why was she so hurt? I don't get it.
Because she has a humongous ego.
As most stars do.
You would feel the same way if I left and went somewhere else.
No.
No?
No, I'd have Eisenberg here in a moment. Or maybe Ghoulish. He's free now.
I think Ghoulish is more your kind.
No, Eisenberg probably would fit better.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We're
It's a step
brothers
down.
from a different mother.
Step down with Eisenberg. Just saying. Oh, you would replace an Arab with a Jew, wouldn't you?
It's a great segue into the presumptive presidential nominee on the Republican side of things, folks. Donald J. Trump.
A freaking rib, isn't it?
All right, so do you at this, and I don't want you to tell the world unless you want to.
No,
but do you know who you're voting for yet?
Yes.
Trump or Clinton?
I'm going to write myself in.
But you need a few million other people to do that as well. Are you announcing your candidacy?
I'm not expecting to win, but if I can, nick one of the two, sure.
For the first time in my life since I could, it is going to be a challenge for me to vote. Do you remember when I told you when I had to vote in the Republican primary?
Yes.
And I had to go in and I had to vote for Ted Cruz.
Yeah. You were distraught.
Who was Stalin to Hitler, which is Trump. And
you were sick about it.
I stood there, papers in front of me, and I looked at it and I said, I can't do this. Firstly, I had to register as a Republican, which I thought was embarrassing to be asked that in front of everybody. It shouldn't matter. It should be open primaries. Have I told you my theory on voting?
No.
Well, let me do that in a moment. So I then filled, because Rubio would have gotten it, but he was already out of the race by the time Illinois voted. So yes, I voted for Ted Cruz because, actually, no, I voted against Donald Trump. I'm that person. I did what these people are doing.
I get it, Habibi, relax.
But it sucked, it hurt, and I don't know if I can do the same thing and vote for either of them in November.
There are senators, governors, and people, career politicians, that have already said they're not going to vote in the election.
Here's what I think it should be. January 1, election year. So January 1 of this year, the polls open online. If there are still 17, 18...
There's way too much voter fraud.
If I can bank, if I can do my taxes, if I can do all this other stuff online, somebody can figure this out. Facebook exists, Twitter exists, Snapchat exists. Somebody can figure this out. Hear me out. January 1, polls open. Let's say you're running on the Super Friends ticket. I'm running on the Nelson family ticket. January 1, I get the voters out there. You get one vote.
Yes.
But you can vote as many times as you want until November 6th, let's just say, the election. So let's say January 1 when the polls open, you get a vote. They support you. You say something, do something that sways their vote. They decide that maybe you're not the best candidate. They can go in and change that one vote to somebody else. Screw the polls, screw the primaries, screw all this shenanigans and all this crap and all this money that's being spent on these elections, and it's open voting for the span of time that voting goes, and you can swap and change your votes, your one vote, as many times as you want. Now, Florida will get 3, because that's what they're used to, but you can swing that vote whichever way you want, and then come November 6th, the final tally is done, your president is decided. Simple.
I agree. Somebody will make a lot of money on that.
And do you know most states, exactly, and that's where the money is,
Probably
because
Bill
right
Gates.
now, somebody's making a ton of money on these polling machines and all that other crap, and the system, which feeds a lot of businesses in the political cycle, is making a ton of money as well. Most states don't even fund, the federal government doesn't even fund most of the voting that happens in the states across the country, so they are figuring it out on their own. Everything, I really think, this is profound, David Hero.
You are profound.
I, to a degree, want to stop living off of a document that's a couple of hundred years old called the Constitution. Start over. The world has changed in such a way that these archaic methods by which we do things and these archaic rules that some states and some federal laws still follow are necessary.
Agreed.
But are also hindering our progress as a country. Now, Donald Trump wants to make America great again.
Yeah, I think he should.
What great period is he wanting to go back to? Because he hasn't articulated that. Going back to the George W. Bush years, or going back to the
He just doesn't like what's
Eisenhower
happened in the
years?
last 8 years.
So he doesn't like that the stock market has doubled. He doesn't like that unemployment is down, which is a fuzzy number, by the way. He doesn't like that we have a better place in the world. He doesn't like that we haven't been attacked since. He doesn't like any of that stuff. What doesn't he like?
He's not targeting people that think like you.
Oh,
He
he's
loves
going down
the uneducated.
south.
He
He loves them.
The South.
He's
You
going to win the
calling them
South.
uneducated?
He's going to win the South. Those are red states.
Are
Arkansas,
you calling
come
Billy
on.
Gunn uneducated?
No, he's not.
He can't spell worth a lick.
Florida is a dynamic state. Florida can go red or blue. They generally go red, but they can go red or blue.
There's a lot of red lights down there. Well, that's New Orleans.
They're a red state. Louisiana. How?
Oh, a huge flood that came through. There are lots of red lights going on.
Cleansing.
It was.
I lived there. I can say it.
Was it God's way of cleansing?
I didn't say that. That gets you in trouble.
Why? Because God wouldn't do that?
Well,
He
some
did it
people
once
don't know if he
before.
really exists.
Look at Noah and his ark.
Just to read the book to follow.
Just think about that. We came from Noah's ark.
Did we?
Well, obviously,
There were
Adam
some
and Eve-
shenanigans on that boat, weren't there? Is that why we started getting shipped in boats? Noah started that? He didn't make the animals row.
You know what? You're right. He was the first slave owner.
No, George Washington was one of the first slave owners. Yeah, they owned slaves. First
No-
3 or 4 presidents
Noah
owned slaves.
was around before George Washington.
Slaves built the White House, too. It was fine at the time.
But there were white slaves. Oh, well, we'll say this for another podcast. You didn't know that?
That I can't say I am explicitly aware of.
I'll explain it next time.
Will there be a next time?
There's
next
al-
Thursday.
there's always a
another
next
Double D podcast next Thursday. Thank you for joining us. Look, folks, we want you to interact with us on our Twitter machines.
If you enjoyed the show, tell everybody about it. If you don't like it, keep
Spread
your
the
mouth
word.
shut.
At Damian Nelson, at David Hero
2 hours.
on Twitter, and of course, we appreciate your engagement and your discussion on our shows.
Yeah, we enjoy this. We have fun. This is, for people that don't know, this is our conversations on the telephone.
This actually isn't all the way there.
Well, no, but we can't.
This is as far as we can go.
Okay, but we have reputations to protect.
I sure do.
And guilty people to save.
I.e. Cousin Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week, next Thursday, on another edition here on the PWR Now Network of the Double D Podcast. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Double D Podcast. If you like what you just heard, and we know you did, subscribe now and join us on Twitter by following @2DPod. This has been a production of PWR LLC. Join us next time for another edition of the Double D Podcast. Until then, take care of yourselves, because, well, no one else will. Deuces!